Hello, welcome to the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast, where it is all about helping amazing physicians just like you create a wealthy life free from burnout and with the financial security to practice medicine on your own terms. I'm your host, Dr. Elisa Chiang. Hello, and welcome back to the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast. I spent last week doing a medical mission trip in Honduras with VHI, Vision Health International. It was my third time doing a mission trip with VHI. I've gone back to the same clinic location in Honduras, first in 2019, then 2024, and now in 2026. I really love being able to use my skills to help people who really are in need. From what I understand, there is not a single fellowship-trained oculoplastic specialist in the entire country of Honduras. I evaluated over 40 patients for surgery and ended up performing I think about 25 surgeries and procedures. It was mostly bread and butter oculoplastics. I did ptosis repairs, ectropion, entropion, DCRs, lesion removals, but also had at least one interesting case where there was a teenager who had gotten a chemical spill into his eye and it caused adhesions from his upper eyelid onto his conjunctiva, which then caused a ptosis for him. Operating in conditions like on a medical mission trip means needing to be flexible in terms of what equipment you have available and even what sutures you have available. I worked with new staff that I've never worked with before. For some aspects of surgery, it works out great, and there are other aspects where you just have to adapt. You can't expect the perfectionism that you may have become accustomed to in the OR that you regularly operate in, where you know your staff, you've been able to order the supplies you specifically want, and you have the instruments that you're used to using. Which leads us into the topic of today's episode, which in a nutshell means taking action when things aren't perfect. As a listener of this podcast, there's a very high probability that you were an A student back in high school and college. After all, you didn't get into medical school by being average. You didn't survive residency by winging it. In medicine, perfectionism is looked at as a virtue. Failure isn't tolerated. We don't want to miss ordering a test that may elucidate the specific diagnosis. In surgery, we want to maintain a sterile field to avoid any infection. We want to avoid any potential complications. Why? Because the stakes are human lives. In the clinical world, good enough feels like failure. It may even feel like negligence. But here's a hard truth that many doctors struggle to swallow. The personality traits that make you a world-class physician are the exact same traits that can make you a mediocre investor. Today, we're talking about why B-level work and boring investments actually lead to A-plus results. I'm going to talk about why searching for that perfect portfolio is actually a form of procrastination and how it's costing you more than any market crash ever could. I've seen this many times. People who spend 6 months or longer waiting for the right time to start investing. They're reading financial headlines, comparing the advice of different gurus, and waiting for the inevitable market correction before they put their first dollar in. Let's call it for what it is: analysis paralysis. In medicine, if a patient is coding, you don't wait for lab results to start compressions. You act. Yet in finance, I've seen physicians sitting on $100,000 or even more in their savings account, earning less than 1% interest for who knows how long because they can't decide between what index fund to invest in. They may not even have the money in a high-yield savings account where they can earn more interest because they tell themselves they're ready to invest, and yet they're also not putting their money into investments. I remember talking to a friend who felt like the market had only been going up and that a bear market was inevitable. This was back in 2018 when the market had fully recovered from the 2008 recession and had been pretty much consistently in an upward trajectory since 2009. He was waiting for another recession so that he could buy stocks at a discount. While waiting in cash, the market rose another 30% in 2019. He was so worried about a 10% drop that he missed a 30% gain. His quest for perfectionism cost him tens of thousands of dollars in opportunity tax. In investing, time in the market beats timing the market. An okay investment made today is worth significantly more than a perfect investment made 3 years from now. Let's get tactical for the moment. If you hang out in physician finance forums, you'll see heated debates where people may argue about whether you should hold VTI, which is Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund, or VOO, which is Vanguard's S&P 500 Index Fund. People will argue whether it's worth having mid and small cap investments in their portfolios when the big companies have generated so much growth. Listen to me closely. It does not matter. If you look at the correlation between VTI and VOO, they move almost in lockstep. They are 99% correlated. Arguing over which one to pick is like two surgeons arguing whether to use betadine or chlorhexidine at the scrub sink. It's a distraction from the actual surgery. If you're saving 20% of your income and regularly investing it into either of those funds, you are going to be a multimillionaire. The perfectionist focuses on the fun. The wealthy mindset focuses on the savings rate. Your ability to live below your means is the engine, and the specific index fund is just the oil in the engine. Don't let the oil choice stop you from driving the car. The reason many doctors avoid boring investing is that it feels too simple. We are trained to handle complexity. We think if it's not complicated, we aren't doing it right. This leads doctors into what I call the specialist trap. They start looking for exclusive deals, things like private equity, complex real estate syndications, or proprietary hedge funds that their guy told them about at the golf course. They want the A-plus investment that nobody else has. But here's the reality of the B-plus portfolio. A simple 3-fund portfolio consisting of a total U.S. stock market fund, a total international market fund, and a total U.S. bond fund outperforms the vast majority of professional money managers over a 20-year period. Here's the mindset shift that you need. You don't need to be a hero in your brokerage account. Save the heroics for the OR. In your portfolio, you want to be a lazy investor. You want a strategy so boring that you don't even feel the need to check it more than once a quarter. If your investments are exciting, you're probably doing something wrong. So, what does good enough look like in practice when it comes to investing? Max out your contributions into your retirement accounts. Open a brokerage account at Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab. It doesn't matter. Decide how much you can invest at regular intervals into that account. Pick a diversified, low-cost index fund. Automate your investments to purchase that fund regularly. Check once a quarter or even once a year, and let it work its magic. The perfect investor is constantly tinkering. They're rebalancing every week. They're tax loss harvesting every time the market dips 1%. This optimization usually leads to more fees, more taxes, and in the end, more stress. The good enough investor sets up a recurring transfer on payday and goes to play with their kids or take a nap. They realize that their highest return on investment isn't found in their Bloomberg terminal. It's found in their career and their family. Your wealth is a tool to support your life. If you spend all of your life energy trying to optimize that tool, you're never going to get around to building the house. To wrap this all up, stop trying to get an A+ in investing. The market doesn't give extra credit for effort. It only rewards discipline and time. If you have money sitting on the sidelines because you're afraid of making a suboptimal choice, here's your 72-hour challenge. Log into your account and buy a total market index fund. Don't worry about the price today. Don't worry if it's the perfect fund. Just get money into the game. Work on transitioning from being the perfectionist physician to the consistent wealth builder. Your future self will thank you for the B+ work you did today. Thank you so much for being a listener of the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast. Go do some good enough investing today, and I'll see you in the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could share it with your friends and colleagues. And now for the disclaimer. I am not a certified financial planner, accountant,
or attorney, and nothing I say should be construed as professional investment, tax, or legal advice. This show is primarily for your education and entertainment. I am a physician, but I'm probably not your physician. So if you need any medical advice, please contact your own physician. Thank you.